But it finally happened. FTX collapse. You can see now they have halted all withdrawals. This morning I covered how they already stopped processing withdrawals. They said, SBF came out and said, no. You know, it's just a little bit slow. We will process it. It's just there's a massive delay. Well, they stopped doing that. It's basically stopped. Okay, so hopefully you guys got the message over the last few days. I've been covering FTX nonstop, every video, right? Warning you guys, be safe with your crypto. Hopefully you guys took a hint and withdrew, because now it's too late. Even one person I remember telling me, hey, George, I didn't withdraw, but I deposited $6,000. I'm like, out of all the times to be depositing, right now is not one of them, because you're not going to get that back, right? So, unfortunately, all withdrawals have been halted, and overall market cap, man, just this morning, we came back down below 1 trillion, like 960 something billion. Then we shot back up to 1 billion, and now we're down to 913 billion. What WTF? What happened? What happened? You look at Solana, it's down 21% in a single day. And they're not even leading. Dogecoin down 23%. Where are all those Elon fans, right? The ones that are hoping Elon does something on Twitter, where did they go? They all panic sold is where they went. And then where is the FTT? FTT is down to $5.31, down 75% within a single day. And this time tomorrow, it could be $1 or $2. There's definitely more ways to go before it hits zero. Okay, we have seen this story. We're reliving it. We just got through Luna and that whole ordeal, and we had a few days where it tried to hold on and there's some volatility, but ultimately it went to zero. And unfortunately, that's where FTX is heading. Okay, so we knew that was coming, right? That was already in the works, but man, things got bad really, really fast. So here's CoinDesk, who started it all. They got that Alameda balance sheet. They're the ones that reported. So you gotta give props to CoinDesk. They're the one that dug this out and kind of investigated and found this out. So you know they're doing their job, right? And if you look at all the withdrawals, right, just massive amounts. In fact, the biggest ETH withdrawal turns out to be Nexo. Some of you guys have asked about Nexo. Nexo is being extra careful, but they themselves withdrew 408 million worth of ETH, along with several other whales. There's a lot of whales, some projects, but Nexo themselves withdrew 400 million. Now, as for stablecoin outflows, you're looking at 451 million out of FTX, right? But what's also concerning about this, I got to figure out, you look at the KuCoin outflow, right? That's also concerning. Why is KuCoin's outflow of stablecoin so high? Everyone else is pretty low. So KuCoin, I got to figure it out, but that's something to pay attention to, right? That's not the first time I noticed that. But going back to FTX, 451 million, that's also a lot. And then you look at everything else. I mean, the statistics are just really, 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 really bad, okay, in terms of volume, of withdrawals, just through the roof, right? You guys know it happened. It happened. Sam Bankman-Fried's net worth today, if you thought he had a bad day, he lost $14.6 billion. His net worth is down to $1 billion, down from $15.6 billion. 94% loss is the biggest one-day collapse ever among billionaires tracked by Bloomberg. That's pretty big. But if you're feeling sorry for the guy, keep in mind his net worth is still $1 billion. Okay? So he's still a billionaire. So before you shed a tear thinking, oh, he lost all his life savings, no, he's still a billionaire. Okay? So let's put that into perspective. Unfortunately, another one falls. Blockfi, which had been open all this time with their credit card and with their non-interest bearing accounts, They were supposedly working with the SEC on getting some kind of lending program approved, but it turns out they were probably being bankrolled by FTX all this time. Ever since Celsius and Voyager collapsed, Blockfi also had a lot of problems, but they said they were in much better shape and they were going to do a deal with FTX. Guess what? They just posted it. Basically, due to what's happening with FTX, they don't know what's going to go on, and they are limiting platform activity, including pausing client withdrawals. So the contagion spread to even Blockfi, but hopefully after Celsius, after Voyager, after Vold, right? And I even warned you guys recently about Nexo, how they had a close call. They had 210 million. They barely withdrew out, right? So hopefully most of you guys have learned to safeguard your crypto and you didn't have anything in Blockfi. Unfortunately, if you did, it's also been stopped. So most likely Blockfi is going to go under as well, including FTX.US. And it's unfortunate because Blockfi, they, it seemed like they were in the best position because they had withdrawals open this whole time. But unfortunately, I guess they were being bankrolled by FTX, so that's why they were able to open, but they have also closed down. Not closed down, but they stopped withdrawals, right? So the contagion is spreading still. And unfortunately, it's ruining such a good day today, right? Today, we had some good inflation data. Inflation was going down. The market pumped. We needed it. We needed it badly because we were hemorrhaging because of all the FTX news. And unfortunately, a lot of it is still in play and still looking very, very bad. And look at this. 80,000 Bitcoin leaves exchanges as traders lose confidence in centralized exchanges. And this is a good thing. This is not a bad thing. This is a good thing, right? Due to all the collapses that has happened, people are reminded, hey, not your keys, not your crypto. When you leave your crypto on a centralized exchange, they can stop. They can shut down. They can stop withdrawals. They could do whatever they want because they ultimately control the keys, not you, right? So that's why I've been stressing, be careful. Better safe than sorry. Learn how to use a hardware wallet. Learn how to use a mobile wallet. Learn how to use a browser wallet. Any wallet that's non-custodial that allows you to control your own recovery phrase and private keys. So please do so if you haven't learned yet. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Once you know, it's like riding a bike. Maybe at the beginning, there's a few challenges, but after you know how to use one wallet, you know how to use all the wallets. It's really that simple. But it's good to see that people are learning. 80,000 Bitcoins leaving exchanges. That is fantastic. U.S. Justice Department also looking into them. In fact, they contacted Binance because Binance pulled out so fast with their due diligence. U.S. Justice Department's like, okay, you guys must have seen something that was bad, right? Because that was just way too quick. So even Justice Department is probing, even contacted Binance, and this is probably one of the reasons why Binance did not want to buy FTX, because they know there's going to be so much scrutiny over this purchase. That's why they thought it's probably not worth it. Plus, they would be buying them for $9.4 billion. They're going to pay close to $10 billion, and they're going to have to deal with all the regulators. No thanks. No thanks, right? So there's all this. And on top of that, okay, it just gets better. I mean, this contagion just spreads everywhere. Also, KuCoin is saying that, you know what, there's a lot of FUD once again, right? They have no direct exposure to FTX, and they're working on a Merkle tree proof of reserves, which I believe will show how much is deposited and how much is there, right? So all these exchanges are working on it around the clock to make sure that bank runs don't happen with them. But there's a lot of rumors about KuCoin, Crypto.com, and Coinbase and Huobi and everything else, right? So these exchanges are all working very hard to prove that they didn't do anything wrong. They don't have exposure to FTX, right? You know, if you cause so much FUD like that, you cause bank runs, well, then they can go down as well, right? But then again, on the other hand, you want to be safe with your crypto. You don't want to be locked up. So, you know, it's one of those things right now. It's better to be safe than sorry, and protect your own assets. But Crypto.com, you know, this proof of reserves that all these exchanges are working on right now, they did reveal this. This is their first proof that how much assets they hold in total. This doesn't really prove like if they used any. I mean, we don't know how much people deposited. We just know this is how much they have, right? So if there's a discrepancy, I don't even know how we would be able to tell. But they hold about $3 billion worth of assets. And surprisingly, about 20% of that is in SHIB. So that's a huge amount. Huge amount. More SHIB than ETH on the platform. I don't know what that says, really. Maybe they just made a tremendous amount of profits in 2021 when SHIB was going up and everyone's buying in. I don't know. But this is what they revealed, but they're going to reveal more stuff. But again, I don't know what this means exactly. You know, if there's a discrepancy, let's say there was 3.5 billion deposited, and this is showing 3, we would never know, right? They need to actually prove like how much was deposited versus how much they have. That's the only way we could actually verify that. Binance tops their SAFU fund at 1 billion. So this is their own private fund. Remember just yesterday I talked about how insurances, like Coinbase insurance doesn't cover all of their assets. No one's insurance covers all their assets. They have insurance, but they don't have, no insurance policy gives you like billions for coverage of all the assets that exchange holds. So CZ a long time ago decided to start their own fund where they put in their own money, right? Kind of like their own personal insurance, and they topped it off at 1 billion. So in case there's a hack or something like that, major price volatility, a bank run or something like that, but even though a bank run, if it happened to Binance, 1 billion is not going to be enough. It's mostly for like vulnerabilities like hacks and stuff. Binance has been hacked before, and they would always say we could pay out, no problem, right? It's really for that. But they decided to top it off in light of everything that's been happening, right? Mysterious outflow exceeding 600 million. I thought the Bahama security regulators seize all assets, but maybe they're not familiar with how wallets work or private keys work or anything. But yeah, all of a sudden, 600 million went out of the wallets, and the supposed FTX officials, I don't know who's left at FTX, confirms on Telegram that this is true. This is happening, and that users should delete their FTX apps and avoid its website. I don't know how official that is. Like, who's left from the FTX official team to warn people on Telegram? But this is the latest. So not only were billions mishandled and there's billions missing, now you got like another 600 million, right? So even a congressman, Tom Emmer, and I covered this before, he's claiming that Gary is running to the media, right? Like going on CNBC and Squawk Box and talking about how, oh, this is dangers of crypto and why we need to regulate it more. So we're having a congressman come out and saying, while Gary is doing that, my office alleges that he's been helping SBF and FTX work on legal loopholes to obtain a regulatory monopoly. He's been helping SBF to become a monopoly. Why? Right? So here's the connection, the official connection. Gary Gensler's boss at MIT, Glenn Ellison, happens to be the father of Caroline, the co-CEO of Alameda. So obviously there's a connection there. SBF also went to MIT and created Alameda Research. So obviously there's a close connection to both of them to Gary Gensler. Okay, and that's not all. The general counsel of FTX also served as lead counsel to Gensler while he was at CFTC. right? So there is definitely a connection going on between Gary, Caroline, and SBF, right? So was this a plan all along by either Gary to make FTX the dominant exchange in the US, right? Becoming a monopoly, or he set this in motion because he knew they would fail because they were just a bunch of kids basically running an empire that he knew would fail, and this ultimately would give Gary even more power, right, after it collapses. So there's definitely something going on there. And obviously it's being spread because now we have even Congress people, you know, looking into this. So this is definitely not going to go away. So right now, Gary could sit on his high horse and point fingers and say, oh, look at this is what happened to FTX, so we have to take, you know, more action. But he's probably sweating that people are figuring out that there is definitely a connection between SBF and Caroline and Gary, all this stuff that's happening, right? Some damning stuff, that is for sure.